Hey y'all, let's get straight to it. So you're going to need a head of cauliflower. I am using an organic head of cauliflower, which I highly recommend if organic is available. So the way that I cut it is I flip it upside down and I take a long sharp knife and I feel my way around the base. So I'm basically cutting the base off without cutting the actual cauliflower florets. I just wiggle my knife around it until I can pop the whole base off. And then I will cut the core out. So this is the way that I handle cauliflower. I don't use it often, y'all, but this recipe, I'm telling you, I don't know if you could tell from the intro or not, but it is so crispy and delicious. I am so excited to share this recipe with you all. It is so delicious. It really is better than Chinese takeout. It really, really is. It's super crispy and delicious. So I cannot wait for you to hook this up and try it out. I have the base cut out right now. So now I'm just gonna cut there's like brown spots on this cauliflower. So I'm just gonna shave those off a little bit because it might be like mold or something like that, just to show that the cauliflower is getting old. So I'm cutting that off. And then I'm going to cut the cauliflower florets into small pieces. I prefer bite size, like really small pieces, because they get even more crispier. So that's what I would recommend, is not letting the pieces be too large. The first time that I tried something similar was at Cheesecake Factory, I forgot what it's called, but it's like barbecue Korean fried cauliflower. Oh my God. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. But the one complaint I have is every time I order it, some of the pieces are way too large, and I prefer the smaller pieces because that's where you really get that good crisp. So anyways, let's get to this batter. You're going to need 1 to 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, followed by some cornstarch. You're going to use 2 to 2.5 tablespoons. This is going to help make the batter really crispy. Followed by some Szechuan ground chilies. I use the brand from the Mala Market. I really love this brand. You're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of the Szechuan ground chilies, followed by 1.5 teaspoons of pink sea salt. So for the chili peppers, I also use that for my homemade chili oil. So let me know if you like that recipe, and I will do that as well. And now I'm sprinkling a little bit of garlic powder, of course. Followed by a little bit of ginger powder. And now I'm going to add a little bit of water and just stir until I get to the preferred consistency. What I'm looking for is for the batter to not be too thick, but not too thin. So I'm just testing it out, as you can see, just trying to check, yeah, this is gonna work. So not too thick, not too thin. So now I'm just gonna grab my cauliflower, dump them in the batter, and just gently mix them around until they are well coated. And then we are gonna move on to the delicious sauce, the star of the show. Go ahead and grab a bowl so we can whip up this sauce. You're going to grab some coconut aminos. As you may know, I do not use soy. Coconut aminos is a great alternative to soy. It has a slightly sweeter taste, but it tastes similar to soy sauce, except it's way better for you. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos, followed by 1 tablespoon of gochujang paste. In case you're not familiar with it, it is a Korean spicy red pepper paste. It's actually really good. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. I just realized I forgot to show you the sesame oil. So this is the sesame oil that I'm using. Next, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. followed by 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup, you can use brown sugar, but I would recommend using maple syrup. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of raw honey. I already know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, why do I need 2 sweeteners? But for this recipe, it works out very well. The contrast of it creates a dynamic that's really, really good. The maple syrup has a rich, deep sweetness, and the raw honey has a different type of sweetness. If you are a strict vegan, you can skip this. Do not use the honey if you are a strict vegan. So now I'm just going to whisk it all together until it's well blended, and then I'm going to give it a taste and see if I need to adjust the flavor. And you know what? I'm going to add a little more vinegar. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to add the rice vinegar. I just realized that I needed to add white distilled vinegar. I forgot that part. So we need to add 1 teaspoon of white distilled vinegar. That should do the trick. So I'm going to whisk this back up and give it another taste test. Okay, that's good. I got the balance that we're looking for. So now I'm going to push this to the side and we're going to go ahead and chop up our veggies. First step, the green onion. So I'm going to chop up some green onion. Grab an onion. I'm using yellow, garlic, ginger, and a fresh jalapeno. I'm going to start with the garlic. We're going to cut off about 6 cloves of garlic. A little trick, just in case you're not familiar with it, you probably are. I got it off of Food Network. So when you're dealing with garlic, it's hard to get the skin off. So I'll peel the cloves off from the bulb, and then I lay my knife flat and just pound it with my fist. With a little force, not too hard, but when you do that, it kind of smashes the garlic and the wrapper, the skin comes off really easy. So just a little tip, just in case you're interested. So we're going to dice this up pretty fine. So I went ahead and peeled the skin off of this ginger. You're going to need about 2 inches of ginger, 2 to 3 inches, and then we're going to finally dice it as well. Time to dice up the jalapeno. First, we're going to remove the stem. I like a little spice, a little heat, a little kick. If you do not, feel free to take out the seeds and the membrane, but I am not. I'm going to leave as is and dice it up like so. But again, if you don't like spice, then just use the green part of the jalapeno. Last but not least, you need 1 small yellow onion. I would recommend the yellow onion or a sweet onion. We're going to use the whole thing. So we're going to go ahead and dice this up as well. After this, we're going to saute all of those veggies in a pan with a little bit of avocado oil. Add the jalapeno and yellow onion first, and then once that softens a bit, we're going to add the ginger, garlic, and green onion. This will prevent them from burning. Next, we're going to get our frying pan ready. So grab a pan. I've got some avocado oil here that I'm using. You could also use another high heat neutral oil. We're going to heat it up between 325 and 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So as a side, I decided to steam some cabbage. So I chopped up some cabbage and some onions, and I just have a steam basket here. I'm going to let this steam while we fry our delicious crispy cauliflower. So just checking on our sauteed veggies here. They're looking really good, nicely wilted, and also a slightly brown, which is perfect. So then we're going to grab our sauce that we made earlier and whisk that in a bit. So to help thicken the sauce, we're going to make a cornstarch slurry. So grab a small bowl, place half a tablespoon of cornstarch plus 1 tablespoon of cold water in it. Mix it very well, and then we're going to take that slurry and pour it into our pan like so. We're going to give it a good mix and let the sauce simmer until it thickens up a bit. So it's been a little less than 10 minutes and the sauce has thickened up. It looks very good. It's actually perfect, as you can see. So this is exactly what we're looking for. So go ahead and take your sauce off the heat. You want to place it to the side to give it a chance to cool off before we use it. This is very important in keeping the cauliflower crispy. So let's go ahead and move on so we can fry our first batch of cauliflower. The oil is hot and ready, so now we're going to fry our first batch of cauliflower. You want to make sure that each piece is coated well in the batter as much as possible, and then you're going to gently place it in the hot oil. You want to make sure you do not overcrowd the pan because that will reduce the heat, and then also they'll start to stick together, and we don't want that to happen either. So fry this in batches. So once it's golden brown on both sides, you want to take it out and place it on a drip rack, a drip tray, a drip pan, a cooling rack, whatever you call it. But what that does is it allows the excess grease to fall down below so it does not sit in its own grease. I know it's tempting to do it the old school way and place it on paper towels, but do not do that. This is to ensure that it remains as crispy as possible. So go ahead, place it on your dripping rack and fry your second batch. And the second batch is done. Look how beautiful and golden that is, y'all. But we still have one more step. So turn your heat up, turn your oil up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to do a quick flash fry, and this is really going to lock in that crispiness. So yes, fry it in batches like you did before so you don't overcrowd the pan. We really want to get this crispiness locked in. And there you have it. The frying is done. Look how beautiful this is. Brown and golden and beautiful and crispy. Y'all, this is so crispy. Looking at it doesn't do it justice, but it is super crispy. You are going to be so pleased. So now we need to move on to the last and final step. It's time to sauce these babies up. So that sauce we made earlier, it should be completely cooled now. So you're going to take some of your cauliflower. I like to take it in batches because I want to make sure I have enough sauce. And you're going to fold it in. Now be very gentle when you fold it in because you don't want to knock off any of the crispiness. So be very gentle, but fold them bad boys in there. Get them very well coated. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to try this. So to plate it, I have some brown rice and the steamed cabbage that I cooked earlier. I'm just going to place our honey sesame chicken on top of the brown rice. Y'all, look at this. Ooh, it's so good. It's so good, y'all. This flavor is so delicious and crispy. And listen, you're not even going to want to go to Takeout no more. This is Takeout. So the last step we need to do is sprinkle a few sesame seeds on top, and then those chopped green onions, we're going to sprinkle those on there as well. Anyways, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this recipe. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Drop it down below if you tried it. Let me know what you think. And until next time, peace and love.